Oh, I had a break, man. I really needed a fucking break from just doing shit. I went just to stay with some family. Some family own like a farm out in the middle of nowhere. Like literally a farm with cows and horses and shit. Just in the middle of nowhere, no phone reception, hardly any internet. And I just went up there for like a whole week just to finish off my show. I get there and the family that I was staying with, every time I see them, they have weird animals. They've got a new animal. I'd say the first time I was there, they had 12 dogs. 12 dogs running around. It was like a fucking wolf pack. It was insane. I don't know how they fed them. Oh, last time I was there, they had a dog that has no eyes. It's not two blind eyes, like two holes in its head. No eyeballs. And the skin had grown over the fucking eye sockets. And the weirdest thing is, man, it's got hair in there. I thought it would have like scar tissue or something, but it's got hairy fucking eyeballs. It's weird as. And it walks around and it's completely blind. And it's an amazing dog. It can walk. It can walk everywhere. It like knows where it is based off sound and feel and from just living blind most of its life. And it's like a really happy dog too. Like they were when they found that it had to lose its eyes and they were thinking about putting it down, but then they were like, oh, we'll give him like 6 months and see how she recovers. And she just turned out to be really happy. And it's like the most amazing fucking thing ever watching her walk around just using her nose. She's real confident and real happy. It's really cool to see. The last time I was there, they had a dog with fucking furry eyeballs that was completely blind. This time I get there and they have a cross-eyed cat that just wouldn't let you touch it. If you touched it, it would fucking freak out and hit you. They also had a wombat. They had a fucking wombat that they rescued because they found a dead wombat and then they checked it and it had a baby wombat with it. So they just adopted this wombat and took it into their house, and it's fucking crazy how much of a pet the thing is. So they've had it for a couple of years, no, 8 months, and it's like half grown, and it's about as it's like a medium-sized dog, but really stocky and fucking really strong. And the funniest thing about the wombat is it just loves people. It was like a dog, man. It would jump up onto the couch and sit on my lap and make me scratch its belly. It was crazy. And the thing about the wombat is it can only see directly in front of it. It can't see up and it can't see behind it or to the side. It only sees directly in front of it. You know how dogs are expressive? Like a dog will move its ears up if it's interested, or back if it's scared, or like crease its brow if it's interested in trying to work something out. It has like facial expressions. You can tell what a dog thinking. A wombat has none of that. You've got no idea what it's thinking. It just has the same face the whole time. Its ears don't move and its eyes don't move at all, and it doesn't make any facial things unless it's eating something. So you have no idea what the fucking thing is thinking. And it's got no tail either. It's like a giant muscular rat that has no tail. It was obsessed with shoelaces, like biting shoelaces and pulling on them. And I think it was playing with me, but every time it would come over and like it'd run over and grab my shoelaces and just start pulling on them, trying to undo them. I would come and I'd put my hand around its head, and then it would like do this thing where it would jump in the air and then run away really fast and then run and come back, so I would do it again. It was the fucking weirdest thing how much of a pet it was and how used to humans it was. But the funniest thing about the fucking thing was that the dogs hated it. The dogs absolutely hated the fucking wombat because obviously they couldn't work out what it was thinking either because it had no body language. And the wombat would fuck with the dog because the dogs were just like small. It was like a Jack Russell and then a small fluffy thing. And the wombat would intentionally, it was like a dominant thing. It would intentionally like walk past the dogs and then stare at the dog, stay still. And the dogs knew what it was doing. Obviously it did this all the time. It would stay still and then it would just start slowly walking directly towards the dog. It was like that episode of The Simpsons where it's like, I'm gonna kick like this, and if you get in the way, it's your own fault. The wombat did that. I'm gonna walk directly into the dog, and if you get hurt, it's your own fault. And the dog knew that the wombat was doing this, and the dog was like, fuck you, man. But the wombat and the dog just wouldn't back down, and then the wombat would slowly walk into the dog would start growling, and then as soon as they touched, the dog would just bite the shit out of the wombat. But because the wombat was like, they're so tough, like their fur is really thick, their bones are so hard, the dog couldn't bite anything. So it would just like bang its teeth against the wombat. The wombat wouldn't even fucking feel it and would just keep walking forwards until the dog would run away. And that was the dog that could see. The dog that had no eyes fucking hated the wombat like nothing I've ever seen. I don't know what you are, man, but you smell weird. Get the fuck out of my house. Like, I don't know what the blind dog thought. All of a sudden, this giant, weird-smelling dog that kept running into him. And the dogs ate the wombat's food. Like, the wombat ate sweet potato. And the blind dog obviously has a good nose, because that's how it gets around, would always find the fucking sweet potato, pull it out of the wombat's cage, and then start eating it. And then the wombat would slowly walk towards the blind dog. And the dog could smell that something was coming, but it would face the wrong way and just start growling, tell him to fuck off. And then the wombat would walk into it from behind. The dog would freak out and just try and maul this wombat, but the wombat wouldn't even feel it. And then the dog would back off and walk away. And then the wombat would come and try and fucking attack my shoelaces, and I would almost stack it and hurt myself. It was just the most Australian shit ever. I rocked up to a farm and they had a dog with no eyes and a wombat.